I got married young, barely into my 20s. Back then, it felt like Sarah and I had the kind of bond that other couples would quietly envy. Or at least, that's what I believed. Together, we carved out a life. Simple, steady, filled with purpose. 2 kids, Emma and Ilya. A humble home filled with noise, warmth, and everyday messes. I spent most of my time working long shifts as a contractor, breaking my back to keep things running smoothly, while Sarah held things down at home, juggling the chaos of parenting. Then, bit by bit, the atmosphere shifted. Sarah began dressing sharper, like she was going somewhere more important than the grocery store. She stayed out later and later with so-called friends, and her phone, well, it practically never left her hand. At first, I brushed it off. Thought maybe I was imagining things. Just stress, maybe. But the truth eventually slapped me in the face. I saw the messages. Not vague or borderline. No, these were graphic, explicit, and there was no mistaking what they meant. She was having an affair. When I brought it up, she didn't even try to deny it. Just stared at me like I was the inconvenience. "You're never home," she said. "You're always working." And just like that, the fault line shifted. Suddenly, I was the reason for everything. Within a week, she filed for divorce. And the courts? It was more like a circus. She left, took my house, took full custody of the children, and demanded substantial monthly alimony. I stayed in a cramped 2-room apartment, where relatives visited me twice a month under supervision. To make matters worse, she spent all her energy trying to turn the kids against me. By the time the ink on the divorce papers dried, I was no longer their father. I was the enemy. I did everything I could to be with the kids. I've never missed a single visit. I brought them gifts, asked them about their lives, and came even when they were in pain. And not once have I spoken ill of their mother. I thought maybe, just maybe, consistency would win them over. But the damage had already been done. Each visit felt like a punch to the gut. The words they spoke weren't theirs. They were echoes of Sarah's bitterness. "Why didn't you fight harder for us? Mom says you only cared about yourself. You never really loved us." There's no way to explain what it does to you, hearing your own kids say they hate you. I held on for as long as I could. But over time, that hope chipped away, piece by painful piece. Eventually, I let go. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have kept fighting. But there's only so much rejection a person can take before they break. While I sat alone in that tiny apartment, Sarah's world seemed to be on fire in the best way possible. She flaunted her new boyfriend, Mark, the same guy she cheated with, on every platform she could. Social media was her stage. There were beach vacations, champagne brunches, a shiny new car, and worst of all, they moved into my house, the one I had poured years of sweat into. Watching them live the dream I'd built, it was like being erased from my own life. But, as it turns out, karma has an oddly poetic sense of timing. Roughly 2 years after the divorce, whispers started floating around about Mark. Turns out, the guy wasn't the high-flying entrepreneur she made him out to be. No, he had a trail of unpaid debts and shady deals behind him. His luxury lifestyle? All for show. A house of cards, waiting to collapse. And when it did, it took Sarah down with it. Mark drained her savings, took out all the loans in her name, and then disappeared. The departed one. Exactly. He left her penniless, disgraced, and mired in debt. A house? They confiscated it. A car? They took it away too. The perfect picture of life that she posted all over the internet? Ruined. Then came the calls. Hey, it's me, Sarah. Her voice was barely more than a whisper, uncertain, brittle, like she wasn't even sure she deserved to speak to me. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, she said, but I need your help. Honestly, I nearly laughed. After everything, after tearing my life apart, after turning our kids against me, now she wanted my help? She pleaded for another chance, said she'd changed. I was foolish, she admitted, voice cracking. And selfish, I see it now. You were a good man, a good husband, and I threw all of it away. And then she dropped the real kicker. Children, they want to see you. They miss you. They know that I was wrong to fill their heads with lies. Now they understand. But here's the truth. I'm not that man anymore. I spent years picking up the pieces of the life she shattered. I faced loneliness, betrayal, and silence, and came out the other side stronger, calmer, and most of all, at peace. The peace she never knew how to give. So I told her the truth. I'm glad you finally see things clearly, but that doesn't undo the past. You made your choices, and I've made mine. I moved on, and maybe you and the kids should too. There was a pause. Then her voice broke, desperate now. You can't mean that. They're your children. Maybe I'm cold. Maybe I'm unforgiving. But I stayed firm. I'll always love them, I said. That'll never change. But I'm not reopening that chapter. They're grown now. Let them live their lives. And you, I truly wish you well, Sarah. Click. The moment I hung up, something in me exhaled. A deep, quiet satisfaction I hadn't felt in years. Not out of vengeance, but closure. Real closure. Sure, there are moments when I question whether I was too harsh, but then I remember the sleepless nights, the weight of abandonment, the bitterness I had to crawl through. And no, I wasn't too harsh. I was finally fair to myself, because here's the truth. Life's too short to hand out second chances to the people who destroyed your first one. If there's anything I've learned, it's this. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is let go.